All right, Sean. So it looks like we're recording. Thank you for your time. And
Say it like you mean it, Miko.
eh, we'll see. We'll see how it comes out, and maybe I'll thank you then. But we'll see.
Okay.
So, background: we did work together. You're the infamous Shawn Ramsey. That was, yeah. Okay, not gonna get into it. But right now, you are the sales director for website provider for car dealers,
Yep.
Overfuel. It says so right behind you. You don't need to spell it. We see the logo and
Oh.
everything. And I was hoping, oh, yeah, of course. Is it going to change colors? I hope
I
it's going to
can
change colors.
I can make it change color. I can
Uh,
make it dance.
can it be rainbow?
I
Just
don't know. It
rainbow it
just
up.
has look at. Wait. Is it see, now
No,
it's gonna start to do stuff.
no, people are going to have epilepsy. Okay.
Let lights on, nobody's home. Wah wah. Oh my gosh. Now I need to make it stop. Wait, is that right? Nope. Let's try that.
Okay.
There we
All
go.
right. Cool. So, what I wanted from you is, and you graciously agreed to share your expertise and just help dealers to understand what the hell is going on because we're car dealers. We're not that technical. We just want the website to work and to sell us cars. How hard can it be, right?
Yeah.
So, just to jump right into it, the thing that's coming up right now a lot between different providers and from the other side is the site speed. So we are at Shift. I'm sure you know that report showed how important the site speed is, how it affects the shopping, just the conversion rate from customers. That supposedly, according to Shift, people are 26% more likely to buy a car with its off our site with good speed that responds well compared to the one that responds poorly. So that's a lot, right? Um, so what can you say about that? What do dealers need to know? And please dumb it down for me so we can actually understand that it's not
Well, that's
schema and
precious.
BIOS and platforms.
Okay. So Uh, it's Google's core web values are three components technically. So speed, responsiveness, and stability. And the speed is not how fast you and I think it loads, but how fast obviously Google is measuring it in microseconds, in tenths of seconds. I should say more specifically. And the reality is it's a national average, so your zip codes could be different, but the national average is that 71% of people are using mobile devices. So if they're not 5G or 6G or 7G or whatever current administrations think our Gs are going to go up to, uh, thank you for the political opportunity there, Miko. The edit out what you need to. They're very likely on a 4G or even a 3G. And the reality there is if they're not 5G, a lot of phones drop down to LTE in a heartbeat. There just is, it's either snail or speed car. So speed matters critically. It's measured every 28 days. Um, the next test of the core web vitals is responsiveness. And obviously, with so many individuals being on the mobile device, it does need to be mobile first. And that is measured obviously by Google. And then the last of the three core tests there are stability. And that's that real frustrating experience of you think you're clicking on a portion of your phone about what's my car worth or what are the current incentives. And as you click on it, something else loads there because the site is slow and or because the site is not fully responsive and or because it's not coded to load content where it's supposed to.
Right.
So they all three components, like three legs of a stool, make that stool foundational, make it something that you can sit on comfortably. Although sitting is the new smoking. So with that said, the simplest test is run the Google Core Web Vitals. Uh, once or twice a month. It doesn't have to be run. Oh my gosh, it does not have to be run every day. It's just silly. It's almost silly to run it every week. However, there is a specific component of that, of the way you run the test, which is to drop your domain, abcmotors.com, and be sure to select origin. And the reason why you need to select origin is because uh, Google, when it's doing its algorithm for dealer near me or 2023 Camry near me or whatever, um, it is running a full site test. And that is equivalent to the command over on the kind of right-hand side of origin. The link that's next to that is specific to a individual page. And the reason why that's important is because if you're a website company or you're loading your own content about an event that you just did or something coming up, car seat safety inspection, a sale that you have going on, you create a page for that on your website, you can run the speed, responsiveness, stability test for just that one page. And so that helps passing that page, it helps pass the whole site. What, in essence, fails for speed most frequently is the obvious file size is too large for the images that you load. So if the content management system for your current website provider doesn't automatically compress those images, then you'll need to find something like a Photoshop or whatever to compress those down into manageable file sizes. Videos can be too large, and there's video software. But the hidden challenge is really a form. So if you, again, if you're doing an event or if you're saying reserve this vehicle, reserve this spot for a presentation at the dealership, grand presentation of a new vehicle, et cetera, and you put a form on there, a WordPress form often is so heavy on the back end that if you test that page, it could make the page fail. And it could fail without a single image on there because the architecture of the platform, it's like if I was going to do a drag race because I'm Appalachian hillbilly, I'm not going to make a engine starting with diesel. I'm obviously going to choose high test grade gas or electric, obviously, right? So, speed, responsiveness, and stability work together. Working with a content management system and a website platform that understands how to make a page fast with all of its content, that's significant. How to make a page responsive is really, it is the utter onus of the website provider. And stable, same thing. So most dealers can work with speed on their end in the content management system within the confines of the capacities of either a diesel engine or high test gas. Let's burn it, man.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's great. So, um, going back to one thing you said about video, by video, do you mean like the video that's built in, like to landing page when they do the beautiful drone shot?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly. So it would be
okay,
the video of, well, and that's a good differentiator. The video that would be on the web page itself, um, as opposed to the video that is hosted through YouTube, which
right.
we all know it's Alphabet that owns YouTube and Google. So when you create, just as a general recommendation, a playlist about vehicles, or you create a playlist about events, and then you drop that YouTube framing into a page, that is rarely, if ever, going to negatively affect.
Mhm.
It often doesn't even have a net neutral, it's a net positive for potential SEO value. But the critical component would be third-party plugins. So there's a plethora of services out there that will create VDP vehicle videos by stitching images together.
Mhm.
The challenge of third-party software, whether it's a chat tool or video within a VDP, uh, can be tremendous. So then it's a balance. It's something that each dealership has to weigh out Do I have the capacity to take videos on my own vehicles and put those onto YouTube, which again could have often a net positive effect for SEO? Or am I going to maybe have a turnkey solution that they do the window sticker for me and they stitch all the images for me and they do the AI behind me? I would say the but, and it's all caps there, is even though it looks great on your website, if you're getting deprecated by Google searches for 2026 Camry near me, it doesn't matter how beautiful the art is, ain't nobody getting the ticket in to see the site. You're not
Yeah.
getting a swing at the bat. Lots of analogies there. So, what the e-commerce websites out there have realized is that something like infinite scroll only slows down your website. And it seems like the only um, retail industry that cared about infinite scroll sites on a search results or vehicle listing page were car dealers. You don't do that. It slows the site down so much that you create one, two, three, four, five. And what we all know from Shift Digital to Unite Digital and Sierra, et cetera, is that it's really after the fourth vehicle that there is a precipitous fall off on a search results or VLP of conversion. So a fast, responsive, and stable site gets you the traffic. If somebody's there and sees video on a VLP, I would be shocked if that would create conversion. You need to get them to the VDP, and if your site is still fast, responsive, and stable with a plugin, congratulations, you've hit the you've hit the lottery because now you have inventory merchandising on a VDP, which is where conversion happens. So I took it a little farther than what you had asked for,
No, that's
Miko.
great. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. And then another thing that I heard or keep hearing regarding to site speed is that there are tags, right? There are a bunch of tags that were used
Yeah.
for different things that people forgot what they were for. But to a dealer, it's like I was talking to a guy that's in the same industry, and he looked at source code for one website and was like, "Oh, this thing, that exact thing, that's what slowed it down
Yeah.
0.03." But how can dealer even look at it and
So
start thinking about
the Google Tag Manager is is like the notorious hidden, almost forgotten about. Oh my gosh, we have too many of them, and they're just laden with agency tags or third-party tags that, frankly, one of the most common complaints is, oh, we drop in a Shift Digital tag and it fails the site. So, uh, the reality there is, again, the dealership will struggle with that. It's up to the website provider to help manage those tags, not only upon setup so that they pass or are net neutral to Google's Core Web Vitals, um, but from there, that they monitor the GTMs, the number of containers, as well as what's inside of them. And so a good account management team from a website provider will do that. Uh, and it starts with about once every 28 days, uh, account management and or the dealership on the call or prior to, et cetera, are going to run that CWV. And they're going to see pass or fail for the site, and they can start to check a couple individual pages. So the site is origin. They can check a couple individual pages and start to see, okay, what's a real issue here with the Google Tag Manager and agencies dumping content in there.
it? Okay, got it. So basically, dealers, there's just no hope that they
Dealership,
can figure it out, and if they try to mess with it,
yeah.
they will mess it up.
So
They
I
might.
would I'm being transparent and honest.
Mhm.
At 80% of dealerships out there, if they're like me and they're average, then they just don't have the bandwidth to go in and look at the GTMs with the frequency of every month to make sure that everything, because it's this labor of testing it and then going in and seeing what might be causing the lag: speed, responsiveness, and or stability. If you fail one of those three, Google takes the one failure and applies it as a fail
Mhm.
if you fail one of the three. So it's not just about speed, but GTM again, kind of that hidden factor of, oh, we compressed all the images, we don't have any video, we don't even have a form from WordPress that's lagging. Oh, it turns out it is. So to me, the analogy is inspecting the minutia of Google Tag Managers, GTMs, is much like saying, are you on 30, 40, or even 50 directories with name, address, phone number, email address, business hours, categories, geo coordinates for mapping, etc.? Pay somebody to do it because you're a dealership out there to sell cars, not manage the minutia that does matter to get that's the up bus. You just don't have the bandwidth, the expertise to do it. So try to eat right, get enough sleep and exercise. I told all three of my kids, assume you're not uh, Tom Brady or any other prodigy out there that is going to be able to do all three of those things. You're going to have to forego something and pay for a personal trainer, pay for a chef, just so that you can go to bed at night and rest.
Okay. And pay someone, are we talking pay to the website provider or pay to the marketing agency?
There's different services out there. Like there's SEO, Moz, there's SEMrush, your website provider or agency might have the capacities. Just off the top of my head, I know that SEMrush does like 35 plus directories, while as other providers do 40 or 50 more directories that can matter. So my only recommendation there is that while GA4 is a fabulous analytics tool, recognize that it's for donut shops and dog groomers and dealerships. That SEMrush, we might all recognize it, but there are directories out there that are really more specific for dealerships that vehicle searches are relevant. So find the relevancy on there or in that service, and then from there figure out if it matters. And you can figure that out by running the free reports that are out there to see if you're showing up where you should and if you're passing the tests that you should.
Okay, great. Awesome. Uh, Something that I think you mentioned already a little bit and coming up every now and then, and I don't see anybody actually doing it, but static or fixed VLP pages.
Yeah. So the kind of the static page for most of the dealerships that I speak to is all about, frankly, a QR code that's dropped onto their window sticker that they want to make sure that when the person leaves, that the domain, is going to work later. Um, Schema is, I think, the larger architecture of a static versus dynamic, DHCP. So schema and that URL structure work together for discoverability by Google. Okay, schema, I think in its simplest terms, I would say to any dealership or any business, I would say schema is like a barcode that you have a ticket to a show or a sporting event. That's what Google is looking at to match the search to the page. So if the search is how frequently should I have an oil change every 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, whatever. You want to have the right schema for fixed operations. If the search is vehicle oriented, 2023 vehicle near me with a package, you need to have the right schema for that. And the domain the URL structure is part of that recipe as well. So you need to have a robust schema where your URL has like the breadcrumb structure to it. And so that is really I said ticket already, so I guess pun intended, I don't know. But that's the ticket to success. Schema, a little more so than the URL structure and whether or not it's static or not. And I know that the tech heads out there are going to get real gnarly about it. Great. That's why I would go talk to an engineer. Um, I mean, really, in terms of what we've said topically so far, prove to Google that you're in business by being on a bunch of directories, 30, 40, 50 of them. Um, prove to Google then specifically that you have a website that is fast, which is the speed test, right? Responsive and stable. And then from there, have the schema to get down lower in that funnel for those long tail searches. And you can run a test on schema.org for your homepage, but BFD, I would go to a VDP, and then I almost said KFC because I think I'm hungry. And you can take that VDP whole URL and run it through schema.org and immediately see how robust your schema is, which really should be a minimum of 4 folders of information, even 5 or 6 folders of information within the schema. Most home pages are probably going to have 2 or 3, and that's probably more than adequate on a home page. But a VDP should have, yeah, a minimum of 4. And for the purposes of not just Google searches, but um, I'm thinking Chat GPT. Sorry, Chat GPT, Gemini, um, and other LLMs, one of the components of the schema should be an FAQ about each model vehicle, about each model.
Okay.
So that should appear there. And again, that just one second, with just that URL structure then works with the schema, and it's all robust so that really a barcode turns into a QR code, turns into a flow code, which just has just a ton more information in it for Google to match up the search. There you go.
Okay, but like in reality, most websites is just a search, right? Like
Yeah,
I can see, even if you click on new vehicles,
yeah,
URL will say search new, right? So it's
it
just
does.
one
Yeah.
inventory. So is that sufficient? Is that hurting dealers? And if it does, then how do we even talk to providers to get it fixed?
Uh, I would prefer an engineer answer those questions because the reality is that it changes. The schema changes faster. No, the schema that changes has a faster impact than the URL structure. So the URL is just one component out of I think we've all agreed it's over 200 variables when Google's doing a search. Um, it's just one of the components. So I completely agree that H1s are important, and so are H2s. And so is that URL that says search equal new, or search that equals used versus pre-owned. Like still the the detail of the vernacular that we use in the industry versus what the humans are using. And so the more robust effort of tackling the schema itself, which is a webmaster function, way more often. Like I know 80% of stats are made up on the spot, but I got to feel like this poll survey is that 97 dealers out of 100 never touch their own schema. So the website provider should set up that schema, and it has a much more dramatic effect than a URL structure.
Okay. Well, that brings another big point that's not technical, but I don't even know what to call it, political, structural, that uh, I'm sure you've seen from both sides. Let's say a dealer finally wakes up to some fact that something is missing on the website or it's not done properly, or they think it's not done properly. They go to the website, their account manager with the provider, and
Yeah.
the answer is anything but yes, we will do it. And it could be, oh, the OEM will not allow it.
Oh,
Oh, it's
yes.
that's not how it works. Oh, that actually
Yes.
doesn't matter. So how do you even like deal with these providers?
So I I just heard about 2 weeks ago, so you can time date stamp it, that a large website provider that rhymes with dealer and spirish would not do an ASC. Um, they wouldn't do an event because it wasn't approved by ASC. And I like, why won't you do an event? So, like you said, I'm not blaming you. I'm saying very specifically, like, why wouldn't you do your website provider? The dealership is the business is asking for a event to be structured in GA4. Every other ASC approved event is in there. Just give them the extra event. It's okay. I honestly believe that there are nefarious reasons, and I'm not allowed to talk about MSRP. Somewhat, I infamous quote, right? Money, sex, religion, and politics. But there's just plain stupidity. There's ignorance out there. And so if I'm a chat tool provider and it's just not on my radar, understandably, to think about core web vitals, why would I code my site up, my tool, to pass Google's core web vitals? So if your provider is not also thinking to reach out to that third party provider, then they're not going to do it, right? Because it's just not on their radar. But the nefarious part is what, why? Why would I do that? Why would I waste my time? Because it's not profitable for me to do all of this lift, which is what the engineers clearly call it. The lift on my end, the level of effort, the LOE is so intense, and it's for one dealer. I'm like, well, but it's not. It's probably a way more holistic application to make sure that Gubagoo and its tool passes on the test on this whole site, because it's not just that one site, or that Cap One, we all know Cap One, that their tool isn't a net negative. So why a website provider doesn't do it, I, the nefarious part, and I know this looks like I was there on January 6th, but I'm a raging moderate. The Earth is a sphere. We landed on the moon, and vaccines don't cause autism. So I think it's maybe then just ignorance. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, that's a good answer because my approach, which I thought was just coming from ignorance and just getting things done by sheer force, would be
Okay.
to, if a website provider tells me, "Oh, that's not how it works," or somebody else will not do it, my answer will be, "Well, how about I'll check that other provider and see if they're gonna do it," and
Yes.
they take my money.
Yeah, it is a function, but that's like, me with my insurance company for my house and my car, looking at my wife almost 30 years and going, should we make a change? And we just know human nature being what it is. If you're average, change is the biggest obstacle to any decision being made. And the easiest decision to make is just stick with what you got. So, um, that's why the insurance companies say 15 minutes,
Right,
$500, whatever
right.
it is. So I would look at the other providers. It's hopefully a labor of love.
Hmm.
Hopefully it's not too laborious, um, because websites are clearly no longer, for years, they have not been the field of dreams, build it and they'll come. And now you've got, well, for a while, for a couple years, you've got Carvana buying dealerships. So if not now, when?
Yep.
When are you going to, you get on the scale and you're 200 pounds now and you're 210 at the end of the year and you're 225 the next year. Like, it just, when are you going to make a change? There are new providers out there that are doing things differently because they have new code, and they might come from a different industry where the answer wasn't no. The answer is how? How can we do that? And it might eventually turn into no, but at least there's consideration, and probably more often than not turns into yes.
Yeah. And like another layer, if there's really some rule from OEM that that's not something you can fix, right?
It's not right.
That's a wall.
So if an OEM says that you have to have a particular DRT, then that DRT could be a significant performance issue. So you can overspend then, without a doubt, you can overspend in Digad and drive traffic to your website. And that's that Shift Digital Pulse report. So instead of spending $100 to get the traffic that you thought you were going to get for $100, you spend 130.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Going back just a little step, landing page. It sounds like it's not as important as VLPs anymore, but what should be there, how it should be, is, I mean, it's still important, right? That's what
Okay.
shows
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
Not
people
you said
click on.
not as.
Um, what should be there, and how do you feel it should be structured? Like
On a
ideally,
landing page
yeah,
from a PPC campaign. Well, from any Digad whatsoever. Is that what you're saying?
just I'm a dealer, I'm building one website. What do I put on my
Oh,
landing page? Like that's kind of like my decision, more or
yeah.
less, right?
So yeah, the agencies that I think do it best that create pages for you as a and again, nothing against dealerships, but if we ask what holiday is coming up in July, are we planning for that now on May 12th, or are we planning for July 4th on July 3rd? So I would create landing pages that are 100% relevant to whatever marketing campaign you're doing. And so if you're doing a marketing campaign about a specific event, so I think Ford's is employee pricing for all right now that just came out, then you better have strong content that resonates because Google is looking for matching terms. And then the user experience should also resonate. So our old school uh, analogy was if you're advertising, go buy organic bananas, but the web experience drops you into just the homepage, then that's no good. So then the landing page should be about organic bananas, not
Yeah,
organic fruit and vegetables, but organic bananas with with the alternatives. So we recognize above the fold, old school, yeah, but above the fold, and put the most relevant information there while not excluding the relevant content that's down below that does matter to both Google as well as a potentially valuable user interface experience, the UI, which is I see the right kind of colors there and theme of the events and etc. So if I'm doing a landing page and let's just take maybe the second most common complaint of a dealership. I can't find or keep good people. So the second part, we're not going to address that, but I can't find people. Well, you can't because I hope you're still not looking on Craigslist. But outside of that, you go to LinkedIn and you drop in not a paid sponsored area, but you drop in a listing. Oh, okay. You do your own post. Fabulous. What's on your own website? Maybe a employment application. But why not things like a message from the owner or the general manager and or the GSM, or if you're looking for technicians, fixed ops? How about in addition to that, smiling faces of people actually working at your dealership, real frigging photos, not the stock photography crap that's out there, nothing AI generated, but just go into your own facility and drop that in there. By the way, optimize the image, just compress it and put an alt tag for a variety of reasons. So you create this visual experience on there that is the UI that makes somebody want to fill out the form, which now you got me on my rant. So the other complaint is nobody clicks on banner ads, so let's kill banner ads. But have we designed a banner ad that somebody wants to click on? Or have we designed a banner ad that says click here that doesn't link anywhere? So I won't go down that rabbit hole, but you see a landing page is about the subjective and objective content that's on there that creates a UX UI blend that increases conversion. And none of us are Amazon that are measuring CTAs and button colors. Well, we got to recognize that there are companies out there that do it. And so we have to figure out how we can get close to mirroring successful content on one of our other pages or what we've seen on another website that made me actually want to go through the click-through process, and or even avoiding submitting something on another website. So if I was looking for gutters and I was on three different websites and couldn't submit something easily, does your website follow that same path? Does that landing page look like what that gutter company does? Then conversion goes into the gutter. Pun intended. Okay.
Great. What about
Okay.
homepage?
What should be on a homepage?
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts, everything above the fold that is about the dealer's business that is priority. And that's a bogus answer, except it's about inventory, duh. But a smart search bar that if you're an F-150 dealer, the smart search bar will show F-150s when somebody types in F-1150. That don't be surprised if people want to search by on a mobile device by clicking on vehicles with Apple CarPlay. That the smart search bar is going to be AI optimized for the typos as well as the super generic searches like all black SUV or all vehicles with leather interior, and that
Okay.
they type that out. So that's above the fold. And then again, thinking in terms of that Amazonish kind of experience, it is the visual experience of tiles that are smart tiles. So searching by model vehicles or category of vehicles that aren't just alphabetized, but that will show up because it's all about above the fold that will show by priority. So if you have a category of vehicle that people are getting to your website to look at, then that needs to show up first. And if that's SUVs versus electric vehicles, and you're sorting by alphabet, you gotta have some AI optimization there so that it's above the fold.
Okay. This is something that came up. Let's say we're talking about Toyota, and you've heard of Sienna. That's super popular. So everybody's searching for them,
Yeah, uh-huh.
and they're not here.
No, no, not on the lot. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we
So
optimize for that search, or do we optimize for what's in stock?
Okay. So the AI optimization is going to be for both. And overall, it's called velocity. And velocity is an algorithm of what vehicles are being searched on and have conversions. That's that big Boolean search, and have conversions. So that, right, any vehicle that is not in stock. So if it's a Corvette, fast car, whatever, BMW that you drive, et cetera, that those vehicles are not or that search is not prioritized, that it is deprecated. So the overall term velocity is what shows up in a shorter period of time with conversions, then that tile then gets optimized.
Okay.
Otherwise, it gets deprecated. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Homepage, we have the navigation bar, we have the smart search. Anything else? What
And
else is
vehicle
important?
tiles.
Vehicle
Yeah,
tiles.
yeah,
Okay.
and then everything that you need below that for the schema and for Google to find you. So the rest of the page can continue, but let's not forget kind of colloquially called 360 nav. At some point down lower, we are putting CTAs that matter again. So if it's all about sales, we're putting additional sales CTAs down below with a different visual, with an actual different set of verbiage, because we're trying to capture somebody's attention, reword it.
Yeah.
So what's my trade worth versus what's my car's value versus whatever, all on one page with different visuals because it's differentiation in communication. And so keep that page going within reason, and you get down to the bottom where you have a directions page that the directions page is optimized for SEO as well.
How do
And
you do
that's a
that?
whole nother
Oh, it's
conversation.
a whole another conversation. Okay, all right, fine. We'll reschedule it for
So-
another time. Fair
oh,
enough.
we will. Okay.
Okay, that's
Are we
cool.
good? Is
You
that
need
is
to
that
go?
good?
Are we good? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got 2 more minutes.
Okay, 2 more minutes. I had something in mind. Oh yeah, the beautiful banners that are right on top,
The
the
banners.
carousel,
Okay.
and there's 7 of them, and they switch so fast that you cannot
Yeah,
even
yeah,
click.
yeah.
What do you think of those?
Design a banner that is going to elicit an emotion. So it doesn't have to be a video. I mean, it was the tonality that you said it, the beautiful zone. I mean, drone, videos that are out there. They are a distraction from the CTA. We're wired to see movement. Why show a drone video? So I'm challenging every dealership out there that still has it. Why have a drone video that shows asphalt? That does not elicit an emotion. I get what you're trying to create. It's zeitgeist, but go to your phone and see how much there is actually recognizable to a stranger. Ask the stranger, what do you see? They'll see movement, not the CTA. That so no. So no. So then that leads then to the size of the banner. The size of the banner, literally the pixel height, should probably be less than more unless your imagery is really relevant. Relevant to the individual's locale. So we don't want to be showing mountains in the background that are red Sedona out here in Pennsylvania, where they're just saying any of that. Okay. We got 3,000 feet of elevation and it's green. So it needs to be relevant, and then it might start to, in a zeitgeist way, elicit an emotion. I recognize that area. So real images, not AI, and make them clickable with something that is going to be the landing page that's going to be incredibly relevant. So we go back to FAB if it's about a vehicle.
Yeah,
What is the most unique feature, advantage, and benefit about that vehicle? Not a listing page. Listing underneath, but up front, elicit an emotion. Software doesn't sell cars, people do.
awesome. Sean, thank you very much. It was
Ah,
great. I know you don't like hearing it, and you probably think I'm just like bullshitting you, but it was okay. So I told you I'll
okay.
thank you later, so
It
I'm
was
thanking
average.
you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's stop the recording.